Another cultural misunderstanding came from the early days of Christianity, from the story of the Eucharist. The Eucharist, or the Lord's Supper, is a commemoration of the Last Supper, the final meal that Jesus Christ shared with his apostles before his arrest and eventual crucifixion.
Jesus said to his apostles, "Eat this bread, it is my body, and drink this wine, it is my blood." There are several things that can be readily deduced from this story, such as it could not have been written by a Jew.
And the reason for that is the dietary laws of the Jews were absolutely sacred. The thought of drinking blood or drinking something symbolically of blood is the last thing in the world that any Jew would ever do, and they were all Jews that were there. There's no way that a Jew could have written that.
This is an attempt to Judaize, in terms of slightly later Judaism, something that is just pagan. It's absolutely clear. I mean, you tell me what this has to do with anything in Passover. In the book of Leviticus, the idea of drinking blood is such a loathsome, abominable notion, right up there with child molesting or having sex with animals. Like, there is no way that any Jewish writer would use this as a religious ritual. But you look over in the Osiris religion, they already had a sacrament where you would drink beer and eat bread because Osiris was the god of grain. He rises, it's the ever-renewing nature thing. His body is the bread, his blood is the beer. What does Jesus say in the Last Supper? This bread is my body, this wine is my blood. He's Dionysus, he's Osiris. It's the whole notion that his blood is wine. Come on, what does this mean? He's the god of the grain and the wine and the grape and all of that.
That's probably not something Orthodox Judaism would endorse. Now that part can actually be kind of a part of a mystery religion. Now that part can be. Because eating of a god, technically known as theophagy, might have been part of what some Near Eastern religions were about.
We know that Mithras also had sacred bread and water, and some of the early Christians, many of them had that because they were teetotalers for other reasons. But the Gospels have bread and wine, and that just has to come from mystery religions. If Jesus had said such a thing, that would just be so revolting to Jews. And we even have an earlier version of it in the Didache, a late 1st, early 2nd century Syrian church manual, where it says, it even uses the word Eucharist. There is nothing about either the death of Jesus or the body and blood of Jesus. So we know there were versions of the Eucharist that didn't have all this gory stuff. That comes from these the mystery religions.